WISU presents Chop It Up the Podcast with Amere and Baylee Chamberlain. Your key to the sports world. Let's get to it. Yes, sir. It's Chop It Up the Podcast. Your key to the sports world. I'm Amere alongside my partner, Baylee Chamberlain, and this is Season 1, Episode 5. We're coming to you from the WZIS studios. Baylee, what's going on today, man?
Not much, dude. It's snowing outside already.
For sure. Ah, man.
Already.
That's terrible.
Like, it's nothing, man. I walked outside. I came here to campus earlier. It was fine.
And then, I don't know. I just hope I get a job down south somewhere because I'm not,
not doing this.
Guy.
Not doing this anymore.
And then it's crazy because when I played football in Iowa, I knew, a lot of people from Florida. Because a lot of football players come from Florida.
Right.
So I would talk to them, and I remember it was our first semester, freshman year, so they would all be like, hey, man, I ain't never seen snow before. I can't wait.
Does Iowa get, a lot of snow, too,
yes.
like Indiana? Yeah.
Yes, it's terrible up there.
I couldn't imagine how it's up, South Bend, Chicago area. I can't even imagine how it is up there.
Yeah.
And all that wind.
All right, go ahead and unlock the sports world with the headlines for us real quick, man.
All right, today we're going to start off high school girls basketball. 2-1 Terre Haute South girls basketball team plays the 2-1 West Vigo Vikings tonight. Game starts at 6 p.m. at West Vigo High School. The 0-1 Northview Knights play host to the White River Valley as they look to improve their 0-1 record. And then on to boys basketball for high school. The boys open up their season on the weekend of Friday, November 22nd. So we still got a little bit for the boys to start. Indiana State's volleyball team lost to Evansville in 3 sets on the road last Friday. They host Southern Illinois this Friday at home in the ISU Arena. National news, Gordon Hayward fractured his left hand. Story is still developing. He's actually in surgery today as we're recording this. But as of right now, he is out indefinitely. Ohio State is set to seek reinstatement for their defensive end Chase Young as possible suspensions looms. So that's kind of crazy.
Yes, sir. It's time for Sycamore Spotlight. Indiana State's football team, they headed to Cedar Rapids, Iowa, to play Northern Iowa, and they lost. What do you think the biggest problem this season has been? Because that makes their record 3-8.
Yep.
So what do you think has been the biggest problem this year, and what's caused them to lose the games that they've lost?
Offensive consistency. That's got to be it. The defense is there, man. Our defense is actually – I didn't know coming into this that we were going to have this good of a defense. Mm-hmm. But, man, they're there all season. But it's just that offense, they can't produce points.
Yeah, and, we hear Coach Mallory talk a lot about running the ball. And while we were in show prep, you even came out and said, he always talks about running the ball, but they're not doing a good job.
You look at the last couple weeks, Dominic Daphne, the receiver, is leading the lead in rushing yards.
Yeah, and they've been putting him in Wildcat a lot. We've been seeing a lot of Wildcat from Indiana State just in general lately.
Yep.
Do you think that just the rough start in the beginning is what led to this? Because they came in, they were ranked 14 preseason, I think it was, and then Ryan Boyle was the starting quarterback, and he's from Iowa, the University of Iowa. Dominic Daphne, who just led them last game with 80 rushing yards, he's also from Iowa, so that would have been a connection between those two.
Yep.
Do you think that injury was is really what caused them to play?
I mean, it has, I'm not going to say that is the main reason, but you losing your starting quarterback on his redshirt senior year, and then you had the injuries up front. Isaiah Edwards, he's out for the rest of the season. It's man, it sucks to blame it on an injury, but when you look back, it's if this team would have had Ryan Boyle, a healthy Ryan Boyle whole season, if they would have had that,
it would have been different.
100% would have been different, and that's what was so exciting about this season. We saw how they ended last season and how they kind of started this season. They went to Kansas, lost a close game, came back, and that Dayton loss, I think that Dayton loss stung.
That was rushed. That was rough because, those are the type of games you really got to win. If you're paying the school to play them, you have to win those.
What is Dayton, a non-scholarship school,
they're a non-scholarship. Now, this is another thing. I talk a lot about putting trust in the pass game,
Oh, yeah.
And offensively, while we're talking down on offense, so it's crazy, offensively, they had more total yards than Northern Iowa, which is crazy. So they had more total yards.
That just credits Indiana State's defense,
Yeah, so they had more total yards than Northern Iowa. And a lot of them, I feel like the big thing that tore them up this game was probably the turnovers.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because, like I said, we talk about you need to pass the ball. They should pass. They should pass.
Yeah.
They put Curtis Wilderman to work.
They did.
Last weekend in 2 picks.
15 to 25, 220 yards, 2 interceptions.
Now, 15 to 25 isn't bad. 220 yards isn't bad, but he's got no touchdowns. And that's the thing. If you can have more yards than the opposite team, and you're not scoring off of all of that momentum,
it means
that's
nothing.
a problem. You got to be consistent and you got to finish. But defensively, man, I think they did good. I remember you text me like I didn't get to watch the end of the game, but you text me and said something like, "Man, this is why I get mad about the football team, man, because they just held them to 0 points the whole second half." Offense didn't put anything up.
Yeah, I said the football team makes me mad. D held UNI to 0 in the second half, but the O can't produce.
Yeah.
And that's what happened, man.
And, yeah, that is true. I just think that, I think it's still a good year for them because they get to learn.
Yeah. 100%.
Everybody gets to learn, but they got a lot of people leaving. I think the biggest thing, going into next game is just, feeding off of what they've gotten out of these past 4 weeks because they've played 3 ranked teams in the past
Final
4
2
weeks
games of the season.
And then you look at who was the team. Okay, so they played South Dakota State,
number 3 at the time.
They just played Northern Iowa.
They went to Illinois State. They went to Normal. They were 7th.
And then they hosted
Southern Illinois.
And Southern Illinois isn't bad either.
Nah.
So yeah, that's just. I think
it was a rough stretch.
It was a rough end, but they got their leeway at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I think that, they're going to learn a lot, though. This is a good learning year for ISU football in general. Now, as for basketball, the men's basketball team lost their season opener at Dayton.
Yep.
Now, Dayton's football team and Dayton's basketball team are two different types of Dayton's.
Dayton's got our number this year, don't they?
Yeah, they're good in basketball, though.
Yes,
they're a
they
good
are.
basketball team.
They are.
Toppin.
Obi Toppin.
Good player, man.
He'll be in the NBA next year.
And, I hear a lot of people, when the game first started, because I never believe the hype. When people are always talking about a player, I got to actually see him.
Yep.
And Obi Toppin is actually a really good player. Now, what I can say, as far as what surprised me this game, was Christian Williams at the beginning. Because I watched the beginning of the game, and Christian Williams was fire. He
took, initiative. It was all him.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
And it shows you the leadership.
Yep. First game of the season, first few minutes of the season, it was
sold
a Christian
out,
Williams show.
Sold out. You were on the road.
Yep.
You got a lot of stuff against you at that point.
Yep.
So I just think he did a really good job as far as that. Then they got Louisville coming up.
Number 4, Louisville.
On Wednesday.
We'll be there.
Yeah, we will be there. And that's a big game. They're the number 4 ranked team in the nation. They're going to be traveling to Louisville, playing in the Yum Center.
Yeah.
So it's still more momentum, just not on their side in general. It's just the odds are against them.
Yep.
So coming into this game, I think you just got to keep your head on straight, and you got to take things away from the previous loss. So I got a chance to talk to a couple of the players today. I got a chance to talk to Coach Lansing, and I asked the players what they can take away from this loss. And the first person I talked to was Christian Williams, and this is what he said.
I think just build up on our defensive effort. We played a lot harder than we did last year, so I think we can build up on that. Key takeaways that we need to focus on is just the little details. I think that was the key reason to why we lost the game.
Yeah, so, Baylee, he talked about how they can build off that defensive effort.
Yeah.
And how they can build off of how well they played, because he said we didn't play we played better than we played last year.
And that was one of the biggest things that stuck out to me was they're already finding improvements from last year. They're a game in, already finding improvements off the defensive effort.
That is important.
It is.
Because you hear a lot of people give you that brush, because you work in media, so you've gotten those answers that's just to brush the media off the shoulder answers.
Yep.
So in the beginning of the season, when you ask, what can you take away or what can you learn from this, they're just, man, we just gotta work hard. We just gotta.
We're gonna learn
those
along
answers.
the way.
He told you, defensively, we gotta work. Now, defensively, what did you see against Dayton out of this basketball team?
It was a team effort, and they got to build upon that. I heard Coach Lansing say in a post-game presser after the game was they don't have that rock-solid guy on ISU that will guard their best player. It's going to come as a team, and I think they did pretty well. They didn't really do it as much down the stretch. And like we said earlier, Obi Toppin, he's an NBA guy. They're going to face more NBA guys on Wednesday night. He put up 10 of 16, 29 points, 12 rebounds. They just got to do a little bit better as a team defensively, but that's one of my biggest things for them.
Do you think that as a coach you should change your preparation when you're playing a team like Louisville, or should you keep it the way you've been doing it?
The preparation could be the same, but it's going to be a lot different when you play.
Yeah.
But I'd say you can prepare a little bit more because you're going to have to face better guys against Louisville, and then you're going to have to play DeQuincy down in the Bahamas in a couple weeks. But yeah, I don't know.
All right, and I got a chance to talk to Coach Lansing too, and this is how I feel. I feel like if you're practicing hard all year, you don't have to change anything up.
Right.
If you're practicing hard all year, the only thing you're going to have to change up is your game plan.
Yep.
I got a chance to talk to Coach Lansing, and this is what he said about his preparation going into Louisville.
A lot of prayer. That's usually what you have to do. No, we know what the challenge is ahead of us. It's just like any other game. We're prepared for what they're going to do, but our focus is always on what we do, and we have to do what we do the best that we can absolutely do it to have a chance to win.
All right. So, one thing that he said in that answer that I can agree with is he said we know who we're playing.
Right.
And that's one thing that, a lot of people, they think that anyway. They think they know who they're playing.
And they get there, and it's not who they thought.
Yeah. So I just think that as long as if they can put the work in and they can practice, the correct way, they should be fine.
Yeah.
How you feel about what he said?
I think it's just preparation. And like you said, they know who Louisville is, so it helps on the preparation. They know how to prepare for this, but preparation is one thing and game's another. So they can prepare as much as they want, but they're going down to play a top 5 team in the nation on the road. It's going to be a test for Indiana State, and it's going to be a test for Indiana State's freshmen. They're starting a freshman center. They did last game as well. So I'm excited to see how they play. We're going to need Barnes to do what he does. We're going to need Key to do what he does as well.
Yeah,
but
and they both played
phenomenal.
Like if you look at the statistics, they played great basketball.
They did
last weekend, so they should be, and I expect to see this out of them all year.
Oh yeah,
I hear a lot. I didn't get to watch them last year, but I hear a lot about inconsistencies with certain players on this team. I'm expecting to see what I seen first game all year, and hopefully I do.
And hopefully that fire, and that fire is in those players.
Yeah.
Coming off of last year, they don't want to do that again.
And when you come off of a good game, that's nothing but momentum. That's fire just leading in as you keep going. So
Tyreek Key, 21 points. Jordan Barnes, 19 points, 3 of 7 behind the line or behind the arc, and then 14 from Christian Williams. So one guy that I want to see a little bit more out of. It's one game in, so I'm not going to really say it like that. But Cooper Neese, 16 minutes, 7 points, 1 3. So let's see if he can improve a little bit more, get some extra minutes, and get some more shots up.
Yep. Now, Indiana State women's basketball, they lost to Kansas 84-72. Now, let me tell you something. I actually watched this whole game go down, the whole women's basketball game, because I was actually excited to see this new team and what they are.
Entirely new team from last year.
They're
wild.
not. Listen, they are not a bad basketball team. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna tell you when I feel like the team isn't there and they're not that good. The women's basketball team here, they're not bad, man, because the game was like I didn't see Kansas get like a lead more than 10 points in it until like the fourth quarter.
So they were in it the whole way.
The whole way. They were in it. And then this is the thing. This is where it got bad. In the fourth quarter, I'm not exactly sure on the exact number, so I'm not going to tell you guys, but they were down by 4 to 6 points. And this is going